Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share with you a simple yet powerful way to disarm a narcissist, ensuring they never meddle in your life again. Narcissists thrive on attention, control, and emotional reactions. They manipulate, they provoke, and they test your limits. But there is one thing they cannot handle: your unwavering self-possession. So what do you say to a narcissist that makes them walk away? It's not an insult, not a fight, not even an argument. Instead, it's something so simple, so unexpected, that it leaves them powerless. I see you. 3 words: calm, steady, unshaken. When you say this, it is not with anger, not with frustration, but with a knowing smile. Because here's the truth: narcissists wear masks. And when you say, "I see you," you expose them. You are telling them, "I recognize your game, and I am not playing." And when they try to provoke you, when they push your buttons, you respond with the greatest weapon of all: silence and indifference. You do not react. You do not explain yourself. You do not defend yourself. Because the moment you stop feeding their need for control, they lose their power over you. Remember, narcissists don't target those who bow to no one. They target those they believe they can manipulate. The moment you show them you are untouchable, they move on. So, next time a narcissist tries to shake you, stand firm, look them in the eye and say, "I see you." Then, watch them walk away, realizing they've lost the game. Because true strength isn't about fighting battles. It's about refusing to play games in the first place. Silence is power. In a world where words are weapons, silence is the ultimate defense. Narcissists thrive on control, manipulation, and emotional reactions. They push buttons, provoke responses, and create chaos just to see how you react. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when their insults, accusations, or manipulative tactics are met with nothing but silence? They lose. Silence is a power that narcissists cannot handle. They expect anger, they expect defense, they expect a fight. When you deny them that, they are left confused, unsettled, and powerless. You see, narcissists are like actors in a play. They need an audience. If you refuse to play your role, the entire performance falls apart. Your silence signals that you are not participating in their game, and without an audience, the show cannot go on. But this silence is not passive, it is not weakness, it is an active choice, a deliberate display of self-control. Silence, when used correctly, communicates more than words ever could. It says, "I see what you're doing, and I am not affected by it." It sends a message that you are in control of yourself, your emotions, and your reactions. This is what unnerves a narcissist the most: someone they cannot shake, cannot provoke, cannot manipulate. Imagine a narcissist hurling insults at you, expecting you to react. Instead of arguing, instead of defending yourself, you simply pause, hold their gaze, and remain silent. This moment of stillness is uncomfortable for them. They will try harder, escalate their tactics, say things that are even more cutting, just to get you to react. But if you stay silent, if you refuse to be pulled into their emotional battlefield, they will eventually give up. Why? Because there is no reward for them. They thrive on your energy, and when you refuse to give it to them, they lose interest. This technique is especially effective in situations where a narcissist is trying to bait you into an argument. They may say things like, "You're always so sensitive," or "You never listen to me," or even, "Everyone thinks you're difficult." These statements are designed to trigger a response, to make you defend yourself, to make you prove them wrong. But what if you don't? What if, instead of defending yourself, you just remain silent, offering nothing but a composed, knowing look? It forces them to face something they cannot stand: irrelevance. Silence also serves another purpose. It gives you time to think. One of the biggest mistakes people make when dealing with narcissists is reacting too quickly. They say things in the heat of the moment, give away too much information, or allow themselves to be emotionally manipulated. But when you practice silence, you give yourself the space to assess the situation logically. Instead of engaging on their terms, you step back, observe, and decide your next move on your own terms. Now, some may wonder, isn't silence just avoiding the problem? Not at all. Silence is not avoidance, it is strategy. It is choosing not to waste energy on someone who thrives on conflict. It is a way of taking control without ever having to raise your voice. It is a silent but firm boundary that tells the narcissist, "You will not control me." Narcissists do not target people who are unshakable. They target those they believe they can manipulate. The moment you show them that their words and actions have no power over you, they start looking for an easier target. So, the next time a narcissist tries to provoke you, remember this: your silence is your strength. Your silence is your shield. And most importantly, your silence is the loudest message you will ever send. Indifference is the best revenge. There is nothing more frustrating to a narcissist than someone who simply does not care. They thrive on attention, positive or negative. Whether you are admiring them or arguing with them, as long as you are emotionally engaged, they are in control. But the moment you become indifferent, they lose their grip on you. Indifference is not about pretending. It is about truly not allowing them to affect you. When you stop caring about their opinions, their manipulation loses power. They insult you, you shrug. They spread lies, you don't defend yourself. They try to provoke a reaction, you stay calm. This is how you win. Not by fighting, but by refusing to play the game. A narcissist expects certain reactions from people. If they put you down, they expect you to defend yourself. If they ignore you, they expect you to chase after them. If they create drama, they expect you to get involved. They feed off of the energy of your reactions. When you deny them this, you take away their fuel. They don't know what to do with someone who simply doesn't care. Imagine someone making a sarcastic remark about your achievements, expecting you to feel small. Instead of justifying yourself or getting upset, you simply say, "All right." No emotion, no explanation, just a neutral, uninterested response. That single moment destroys their ability to manipulate you. One of the most powerful things you can do is train yourself to respond to their attempts at control with neutrality. Not coldness, not passive aggression, just genuine disinterest. When they see that their words don't wound you, their actions don't disturb you, and their presence doesn't influence your mood, they will start to feel powerless. This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about understanding that their opinion of you does not define you. What they say, what they think, how they react, it's all irrelevant to your life. And when you start to live that truth, their ability to manipulate you fades away. Narcissists do not know how to handle indifference. They expect resistance, anger, tears, something to let them know they still have control. But the moment you stop giving them that satisfaction, they become unsettled. They may try harder for a while, pushing more buttons, testing your boundaries. But eventually, they will realize that you are not worth the effort. Indifference also protects your peace. Engaging with a narcissist drains your energy. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of reaction and defense. When you choose indifference, you reclaim your emotional space. You stop explaining, justifying, and defending yourself. You stop seeking their approval or trying to prove them wrong. You simply exist on your own terms, without their influence. Think of a narcissist as someone knocking on your door, demanding attention. If you keep answering, they will keep coming back. But if you ignore the knocking, eventually they will leave and look for another door. So the next time a narcissist tries to pull you into their web of manipulation, remember this. The best revenge is not anger. It's not confrontation. It's not even walking away dramatically. The best revenge is simply not caring. Because when you show a narcissist that they mean nothing to you, you take away their power. Unshakable self-respect. Narcissists prey on those who doubt themselves. They look for cracks in your self-worth, subtle insecurities they can manipulate, and moments of vulnerability they can use to control you. But there is one thing they cannot handle: someone who has unshakable self-respect. When you respect yourself deeply, you don't need external validation. You don't need approval, permission, or reassurance from others. This is exactly what makes a narcissist powerless over you. They thrive on making people feel small, but if you stand tall, if you refuse to accept their version of reality, their words lose all meaning. Self-respect starts with boundaries. A narcissist will test those boundaries again and again, pushing to see how much they can get away with. They may insult you in subtle ways, ignore your needs, or pressure you into doing things that benefit them. The key to stopping this behavior is simple. Never compromise your standards for anyone. If you say no, mean it. If something feels wrong, stand by your decision. If they try to make you doubt yourself, remind yourself that your truth matters. One of the most powerful things you can say to a narcissist is, "I don't accept that." If they insult you, instead of defending yourself, simply say, "I don't accept that." If they try to twist reality, gaslight you, or make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, respond with confidence. "That's not true for me." These statements are powerful because they don't invite debate. They shut down manipulation instantly. A narcissist wants you to argue, explain, or justify yourself. When you refuse to do that, they are left with nothing. Your self-respect also shows in how you carry yourself. Narcissists are skilled at sensing weakness, but they also recognize strength when they see it. The way you speak, the way you stand, the way you walk into a room, all of it communicates whether you are someone they can manipulate. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, with a sense of inner peace that does not waver, they realize that you are not someone who can be controlled. The mistake many people make when dealing with narcissists is trying to prove their worth. They explain themselves, argue back, and try to show the narcissist why they deserve respect. But the truth is, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your worth is not up for debate. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to convince them of anything. Simply being unwavering in your self-respect is enough. This is why narcissists fear people with strong self-esteem. When you believe in yourself, their insults don't sting, their manipulation doesn't work, and their approval becomes meaningless. They will try to make you feel inferior, but if you refuse to play along, they have no power over you. Remember this: no one can take away the respect you have for yourself unless you give them permission. So, don't give them that permission. Stand firm in who you are, set your boundaries, and refuse to accept anything less than the respect you deserve. Because once a narcissist realizes they can't shake your confidence, they will move on. Master the art of mysterious responses. Narcissists thrive on control, and one of their favorite tactics is trying to get inside your head. They study your reactions, your fears, and your emotional triggers. The more they know about you, the easier it is for them to manipulate you. But what happens when they can't figure you out? What happens when your responses leave them confused and uncertain? That's when their power over you starts to fade. One of the most effective ways to disarm a narcissist is by being intentionally mysterious. This doesn't mean being dishonest or playing games. It means refusing to give them the emotional reactions they expect. It means responding in a way that keeps them off balance, making them question whether they actually have any influence over you. For example, imagine a narcissist trying to insult you by saying, "You've really changed. You're not the same person you used to be." Most people would either get defensive or try to explain themselves. But instead of falling into that trap, what if you simply smiled and said, "Interesting observation." No explanation, no emotional reaction, just a neutral, almost amused response. Suddenly, they don't know where they stand with you. Did you take offense? Did you not care? Are you laughing at them? That uncertainty makes them uncomfortable. Another powerful response to manipulation is strategic vagueness. If a narcissist is fishing for information, testing your emotional state, or trying to get a reaction, give them nothing concrete to work with. If they ask, "Are you mad at me?" instead of saying yes or no, try responding with, "Why do you ask?" If they say, "You always take things so personally," respond with, "That's an interesting perspective." These responses stop them in their tracks because they don't provide an opening for further manipulation. One of the key reasons narcissists manipulate people is because they crave predictability. They want to know that if they push a certain button, they will get a certain reaction. But when you don't react the way they expect, when your words and actions become unpredictable, they start to lose interest. They don't know how to control someone who refuses to be easily read. This also applies to personal information. Narcissists love to use what they know about you against you. The less they know, the less power they have. Instead of openly sharing your plans, struggles, or emotions, keep things vague. If they ask what you've been up to, instead of giving them details, say, "Just handling a few things." If they ask about your future plans, say, "I have some interesting ideas." These responses may seem simple, but they create a sense of mystery, one that frustrates a narcissist because it keeps them from gaining control. The goal is not to be passive-aggressive or secretive, but rather to establish an emotional boundary. You are letting them know, in a subtle but powerful way, that they do not have access to your inner world, and without that access, their ability to manipulate you disappears. A narcissist's greatest weakness is uncertainty. When they don't know what you're thinking, when they can't predict your response, when they feel like they are losing control, they become anxious. And when they become anxious, they eventually move on to someone who gives them the reactions they crave. So the next time a narcissist tries to engage you in their usual mind games, don't argue, don't defend, and don't over-explain. Just be calm, be vague, and let them wonder. Because when a narcissist can't figure you out, they will never be able to mess with you again. Own your presence. Narcissists are experts at sizing people up. They look for hesitation, insecurity, and self-doubt, anything that signals vulnerability. They know exactly who they can manipulate and who they can't. And the one thing that makes them back off faster than anything else? Someone who owns their presence. Owning your presence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about arrogance, aggression, or proving yourself to others. True presence comes from an inner confidence, a quiet strength that says, "I know who I am, and I don't need your approval." When you walk into a room, your energy should communicate that you are not someone who can be controlled. Narcissists manipulate through power imbalances. They want to feel like they are above you, that they control the narrative. But when you carry yourself with calm authority, they sense it immediately. They recognize that you are not easily influenced, that you are not seeking validation, and most importantly, that you are not afraid of them. This makes you a difficult target. One of the easiest ways to own your presence is through body language. Before a word is spoken, the way you carry yourself speaks volumes. Stand tall, make eye contact, and move with purpose. When a narcissist tries to intimidate you, maintain your posture. Don't shrink, don't fidget, and don't break eye contact unless you choose to. They are expecting weakness. Give them certainty instead. Another key element is your tone of voice. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. They want to hear frustration, anger, or insecurity in your voice. But when you speak with calmness and control, it throws them off. Even a simple response like, "I don't see it that way," said in a steady, confident tone, can shut down their attempts to provoke you. Owning your presence also means controlling your emotional energy. Narcissists try to manipulate by shifting the emotional tone of a conversation. They might start with charm, then suddenly switch to criticism, creating confusion and self-doubt. But when you refuse to be pulled into their emotional roller coaster, when you stay centered no matter what they say, they lose their power over you. A powerful phrase to use when a narcissist tries to shake your confidence is, "That's your opinion." Simple, direct, and emotionally neutral. It communicates that you are unaffected by their words. If they try to criticize you, insult you, or tell you what you should do, just respond with, "That's your opinion." No argument, no justification, just a firm boundary that says, "Your words do not define me." When you fully own your presence, a narcissist will realize something very quickly. You are not someone who can be controlled. You are not easily manipulated. And most importantly, you are not someone who will tolerate disrespect. Narcissists seek out people they can dominate. When they come across someone with an unshakable presence, someone who stands firm in their worth, they feel uneasy. Their usual tactics don't work. Their games fall apart. And rather than wasting energy on someone they can't manipulate, they move on. So the next time you're dealing with a narcissist, don't argue, don't defend, and don't engage in their drama. Just own your presence. Let them see that you are unmovable. Because when a narcissist realizes they can't shake you, they will never mess with you again.